Good morning, guys. I think we are live. I think we're rocking and rolling. Happy Saturday to you. It's early. I'm looking out the window. The light is just starting to hit here. Stanley Cat is up bright and early. Who else has a cat that, let's just say, likes to assist you to wake up in the morning? So Stanley's been up for a bit, coming in, out of the room, feed me, all that good stuff. Then he's been laying here next to me with on his back, belly up, purring because he's just been having a great morning. Me, I'm trying to break into this Saturday up early with the birds. Hi, Sharon. Hey, Chris, how are you? Good morning. So I got my cup of coffee. Do you guys have your cup of coffee today? And get ready to knock it out, right? We've got a whole year ahead of us, but also we have a whole new day ahead of us, right? So I'm excited to see what today will bring, what we're going to get into today. And I want to talk with you guys about something that I think is really going to help you in your business. And it's something that we come into this world asking this question a lot. And that is why. And if you have kids in your life right now, or you can think back to when you raised one, you will remember, oh my gosh, but why? But why, right? Inside of us, we have this thing, from when we're young where we want to ask why. And when you ask, even when you take that example of a little kitty, good morning, Sandy, Lisa, Kim, Tammy, BJ's on here. Hi, Angela, Belinda. So if you say to a kid, don't touch the burner, okay? Like, don't come around the stove, don't touch the burner. And he says, why? But why? And tell me if you know what I mean when I say that. And you said, because mom said so. Well, that doesn't carry as much weight, right? To help impress upon somebody to not to touch the burner as when you say, well, you'll hurt yourself. You'll burn yourself. We'll have to go to the doctor and he'll have to take care of you and you'll cry. It's not going to be good, right? When you express it that way, then it's like, oh, I don't want to burn myself. I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to cry. I don't want to go to the doctor, right? And then somehow it shifts and we go, note taken, right? So I want to read to you a statistic that I looked up because I've often heard a statistic because I know that business is hard. And I don't know if you're at your start right now. Tell me if you're at your start or you're kind of like midway or you're in amongst it. But at the end of the day, we know that business is hard. And there's probably a lot of people that you know that have started in business. They've put their business on pause. Something has happened. It's just kind of thrown them off. They started with good intentions. They started off. And then you know what? You go to their Facebook page and they completely disappeared. Like, what happened to them? And they weren't able to maintain that consistency, right? Do you know somebody like that? Maybe that's you. Or maybe you don't want that to happen to you. So we all know that there's been this staggering statistic that in the first year of business, there's a lot of people that don't make it past their first year, right? And so I looked up this morning when I got up because I thought, what's a latest statistic that people are saying when it comes to business? Like, what makes it, what breaks it, the amount of people. And so I want to read you this because this is what I found. And this was out of a study done with small businesses in December. So they're all about the same or give a general range, but this is what this study says. It says, new beginnings can be tough. Well, we know that, right? That's why we're doing this together. We're on the journey together for the entire year. I know that your input determines your output and what you focus on grows. Hence the name of this YouTube channel. We're going to grow together and we're going to focus. So thank you for being here. Thank you whether you're listening live right now or whether you're watching later on replay. At the end of the day, you know what you're doing? You're investing in your business and you're taking your time to do self-improvement, because when you show up in the right space, then you know what? It's going to be easier in business, right? So it says, this study says new beginnings can be tough, especially for entrepreneurs. Yeah. For 21.5% of small businesses, listen to this, the journey ends before the first year is over. For 21.5% of small businesses, the journey ends before the first year is over. Only about half of businesses manage to reach their fifth year. So have you heard this as well? That the first 5 years in business, that's like the groundwork. That's when you're still building, you're putting the blocks in place. And then it's when you reach that fifth year that you really your work starts to pay off, right? Have you heard that statistic before? It goes on to say, and there aren't many businesses that manage to stay open for a decade, celebrating 10 years in business. Research shows that on average, only 1/3 of all entrepreneurs get to celebrate their 10th Birthday, right? So if you're out there thinking, man, this is hard, you're not the only one, right? So give yourself some grace. But how do you not become a statistic? So this is also something I'm going to start off with and tell you that this has always been one of my favorite quotes. And if you followed me for a while and you've been in my business group before, you might have heard me say this, because this is truly what it comes down to and the topic that we're going to talk about today. All right. Why are you going to work this hard so you don't become a statistic? So this is the quote. Tell me if you've heard this one before. I don't know who actually said it in the beginning, but it's the truth. Entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. Think about that. You're doing something now that not everybody is going to do or would be willing to do. Hence, the first 5 years in business, they give up so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't, right? So why are you going to work hard? Why are you going to work hard? Why are you not going to touch the burner, right? Why are you going to do this? Why are you going to do that? It's because there's something that you want to achieve. You have a purpose, you have a goal in mind, right? So today I want to talk to you about making your business happen because you have figured out your why. Let me ask you, have you figured out your why? Have you figured out why? Like, you're here right now listening to this because you want to have a business. And it's probably not just because I want to have a business, because we've said being in business is not easy, right? It takes work. It takes work. So why are you here right now? Tell me. When you're in the comments, write down below. Be part of the community. Show up every single day communicating, writing down. When you write things down, when you take things out of your mind, you put it out. Clarity through action. Oh boy, that's a big one for me. Clarity through action, showing up, and your why can change. But right now, why would you want to start a business in 2020? Why do you want to continue business in 2020? Let's drill down to the bigger thing at hand, right? Determining your why. So I'm going to tell you some examples of whys. I'll tell you what my why is. And I'm also going to tell you why you should figure out your why, right? We're going to drill a little deeper here. So when I was making my notes, doing this brain dump, I said to myself, why would you want to determine a why? And it came down to 3 P's for me, okay? Number 1, it allows you to prioritize. Somebody write that down. It allows you to prioritize. So when you got a why you're doing something, you're not going to waste your time, right? When you are working, I got to get this done because this is my why. And this is why I'm doing this today, right? You'll say yes to some things, no to some things because you got a why. It will help you stay on track. And when it feels like you got a million gazillion things going on, at the end of the day, it'll give you clarity to figure out why you're doing this and does it get you in the direction that you want to go to achieve the goal that you want based on what your why is. Number 2, it will help you to persevere. Yeah, like press on, right? It will help you stay in the game because when it gets hard, when somebody criticizes you, listen, when somebody criticizes you, and let me just tell you this, I'm just going to be on this one. When you do put yourself out there, you're doing something that not a lot of other people would do, right? You're putting yourself out there, maybe on social media, all the places, and it can be nerve-wracking. That's why you got the ban and delete button, okay? So it's very easy to clean out anything you want to clean out. Get rid of anything you want to clean out. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. When you figured out your why, I will put myself out there every single day, right? To inspire other people, to talk to other people, to motivate other people, regardless of what anybody else will say. It gives you confidence, right? When you know your why, nothing's going to, I am determined. Nothing is going to knock me down. Like, I have got my goal and I am working on it, right? And you start to achieve things and you get more confidence, and that gives you the power. One more P gives you one more, just one more tool. Like, you just strengthen yourself as you go on, right? So persevere when people don't like what you're doing, and for different reasons. You've probably heard the expression before that hurt people hurt people. And sometimes when people come out of the woodwork and you put yourself out there, it's not because what you're doing is not because you're a bad person or you're not good enough or what you're doing is not amazing, but they just have some things to deal with themselves, right? And sometimes you achieving your goals can make somebody else have a reality check for themselves and go, I'm jealous. I'm envious. I have regrets. They're out there. They're building a business. They're doing all the things that I've thought about, but I've never had the nerve to do, right? Or I never pressed through it. I never put myself out there. I got nervous. I got anxiety. I'm going to tell you, one of the big ways you can tell when you're not within your why zone is that you get anxiety when you're doing things for your business. And have you ever been in this where you're doing something, you said yes to something? Because remember, when you say yes to something, you're also saying no to other things, right? So you're doing something and you're like, why did I say yes to this? Because it probably is out of sync with you, right? It doesn't fit your why, and you're out of alignment with what your purpose is, what your goal is. And my goal and your goal is going to be different. Everybody's goals are going to be different. But if you're doing something that really brings you on anxiety, gives you a panic attack, makes you feel bitter, like, why did I say this? How did I do this? This is not what I wanted to do. Because you're out of sync, right? It doesn't make sense with the why inside of you. And that's why it's important to determine your why. So it helps you to persevere when things are hard, when things go wrong, when things don't work out, when you're making something and even the design doesn't turn out the way that you had it in your head. It gets hard when you're tired. When you have a why, it will help you push through. Like when I started what I do now with Junk Monkey Paint Company, I was working a full-time, very serious senior management job in the corporate world. And it took all my energy. You guys know that when I moved to the US, I went on to work in human resources. I went on to do more education and then study in university. And then I went on to, how you change careers. I went on from journalism, which was all about communications, because everything you do leads you down the road, right? You pull from what you've done before, it just becomes your history and helps shape you who you are, which is amazing. So all the businesses that you've had up until now, all the things that you've done until now really only just shapes you to get you to where you are right now, right? But when I started, I was working a job, and I say that to say that you can build a business even if you're working full-time at something else right now. But if you've determined your why, it will push you when those days are hard and you're tired after doing that job, and you come home and it's easier to lay on the couch and watch Netflix, right? Or it's easier just not to go to the garage and work on something, or to sit at your table and knock out something that you need to get done. And there could be so many things that you want to do in business. Fill in the blank, because this applies to anything that you're doing in business, right? No matter what it is, what field of work that you're in, that you're doing. When you determine your why, when somebody calls you on a Saturday like today, and you know that you've got to get something done for your business, and somebody calls and says, hey, do you want to go do X, Y, Z, right? Do you want to go out, do this, do that? And you're like, I really got to get this done, right? And you might even go. If you go, then you get that pit in your stomach, like, oh my gosh, or the morning after you regret it because I got to get this done, right? Because your why is calling you. Your why will cause you to get up even when you're tired and go get something done. And it doesn't have to be that, you're coming home from work and you're putting a ton of hours in every single day. Now, I will tell you that the more hours you put into something, the better that you're going to get. I mean, think about any sports player out there. Use that as an example. The more hours you put into something, it just naturally happens that you get better at something. That's why they show up and they practice every day. Why do you think that they practice every day? How come you're not practicing your craft every single day, right? Your thing that you're growing a business in every single day. Hours equals making you an expert. So you should do things every single day. But when things are hard and you know your why, you're going to show up and you're going to do things. And when things get hard, like I said, you're tired, something just rough happens in business. And we've all had those days where you just want to stay in bed, or you're like, why do I do what I do? Do you ever say that out loud? Why do I even do this? Why am I even trying to do this? Come on, girl or guy, you know why you're doing this, right? And that is why your homework today is to determine your why. And I want you to figure it out. I want you to figure it out over the weekend and start Monday fresh. Take a few minutes, go sit in silence, just with a notepad, and think to yourself, what is it that I want this year for my business in 2020? So it'll help you prioritize, it'll help you persevere. And the number 3 thing, it'll propel you forward, because it'll create the drive. Like, what do you want? So if you've heard my story, a couple of things I talk about is being so broke that, we lived paycheck to paycheck. And wanting things, but I'm not being able to go to the store and just buy something that I wanted, always buying the lower value brand, whether it tasted good or not, because some things taste better, you know what I'm saying, in the brand. Not having enough money to go home to buy a plane ticket to see my family in Canada, where I'm from. I make my home in the US if you're just watching. And that's what my why was at that time. I started a box where all the money for all the things that I did, and for me, my thing that I do is I have vision. I can look at a piece of junk and go, we're going to flip it into something amazing, turn it into something amazing. And so when you identify what your power is, what we call in marketing your superpower is, whatever you're drawn to. Somebody messaged me this morning, they say they make quilts. That's your superpower, right? That's what you've been gifted in. So there's no reason why you can't monetize and go on to build a business around that, doing what you love. But you got to get strategic. You got to put those blinders on that we talked about this week. And you got to really, really hone in on why you're doing what you're doing. So for me, my why was in the beginning, I wanted to really get enough money so I could actually, after a couple of years, have a plane ticket, enough money to fly home to be able to see my family again, because we were paycheck to paycheck. The other thing was, we were, I told you Matt's background is he's a chef. Chefs go in at work at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They don't get off till midnight. That's when the dinner time, the service time is, the heavy time. Me, I was a corporate girl, like I said. So I'd show up at 8 a.m. in the morning, get done by 4 or 5 in the afternoon, work hard, show up 100% in somebody else's business, right? Do the respectful thing for them when you're working for them. Just like when you grow your business, you're going to want somebody giving it their all for you as well, right? But we were like passing ships because we were married, but yet under the same roof. But we were also going off to do jobs that took us out of the house at different times, right? I worked in a job where I really felt like HR, I had to bite my tongue. And sometimes there were things, because you do have to make sure when you're working for somebody else and they pay your paycheck, that you got to do the job that you were hired to do. You show up with integrity, with honesty, right? And you do what you got to do, put the time in, work hard, fulfill the mission, the vision of whatever it is they want to do. And then when you clock out, that's your time, right? Then you're on your own business time, and you do what you want to do. Coming home at the end of the day, could not wait to get home in my stretchy pants to do what I love and to just be me, right? To not have to hold it in anymore and to be able to express myself and do what I love. So I threw away those high heels and pantyhose and dress suits and, my BlackBerry and all that sort of stuff, the business cards, and I picked up paintbrushes, and much more happier. Because if you can fulfill your purpose, find your why, and you're actually walking in your why, and you're doing things in your why, oh my gosh, the sense of fulfillment that you get. So sometimes you just have to do stuff in order to be able to support the business that you're growing. So if you're in a job right now and you're like, I am so ready to get out of it, take away from the things that you learn from there. You've probably learned leadership. You work under somebody else. Somebody else is the leader right now. Maybe you work for them. And what can you learn? You learn communication skills. You learn how to write a savvy email. You learn how to maybe communicate back to somebody without causing an explosion. You learn how to filter your words a little bit more, because now you're working in the public. All those things you take with you when you go on to work for your business full time. And now the business is yours and you set the culture of it, right? So never despise where you are right now, because that can change. I am a testament to that. But think that you're collecting things that just make you a better person as you grow, right? So your why, my why was, man, I did not want to be in a box anymore. I worked in an office where there was no natural light, only fluorescent lights. And there was days that the power went off. And when it did, it was black. I had to feel my way out of the room. So you know what? I craved natural sunlight so bad, because I'd walk in the mornings, and sometimes I'd walk into work when it was dark, and I'd leave at the end of the day, certain times of the year when it was dark too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just wish I could work in sunshine. I just wish I could just be free to be out here setting my own schedule doing. And instead I'm like, I feel like I work in this box and I want to get out of it so bad. Maybe you're tired of the office politics. Like I said, maybe you're doing a job that just doesn't really light your fire anymore. You've changed, you've evolved. That's natural. That's what happens. We grow as human beings, right? Maybe you want more money. You want to give yourself a raise. You don't want to depend on having. I remember that, having to go into a meeting with my boss and actually having to tell him why I think I should get a raise this year. And a raise might be, I don't know. It might be an extra 25 cents, work all year long and then stress yourself out, the pit in your stomach, whether or not is it going to happen this year? Is the business going to make enough money that I'm working for that they're going to be able to do bonuses this year? All you know is that you're working hard, and you might even be working with people who really aren't even pulling their weight, but you're such a hard worker, right? Because you're showing up 100%. So if you're willing to work for somebody else's dream, be willing to work for your dream, right? Stop just showing up for somebody else. Do the work when you're showing up for somebody else, but you can have things that you're working on, right? You can be building your business in 2020. So eventually you can shift and go on. So a lot of the things that I said right there, right? That could be your whys. I hope you're listening at your whys right here. I'm going to be reading them. I can see your comments over here to the side right here. And so I'm going to read a few of them in a second. So when all that boils down to, not just living paycheck to paycheck, wanting to do things. Maybe you want to be able to upgrade your home. Maybe you want to be able to take family vacations, places that you'd never been able to get to before. This past year, you saw me and Matt go down to Universal Studio. I've never been to Disney, always heard about it. And I'm going to go to Disney. It's probably going to be this year because it's just one of the things that we want to do together, right? But we never had the money to do it before because quite literally, it was paycheck to paycheck. So for me, my why, when that all boils down to, being able to control what you make, control what you do, who you work with, what work you say yes to, how you spend your time, all that sort of stuff, the freedom, the flexibility. Aha, I said it. It's freedom. My why is freedom. What is your why, right? It's not just because you don't want to do the job that you're doing anymore. I'm just tired of this job. I want to work for myself. Why do you want to work for yourself? Like if you drill down to the bigger things. So for me, my why is freedom. I will never, and this is when you determine your why will propel you, help you prioritize, persevere, keep moving towards the direction that you want to go. But I wrote down here, but it will also help you get clarity on what you don't want, right? This is what I want. This is what I don't want. Sonia's not going to do this because it puts her back into this space, right? I want freedom, flexibility. I want to be able to go home back to Canada, see my family whenever I want. I don't want to have to write a request out and hope I got my request in before the rest of the people in my office to be able to request some days off and then to work a year to only get 5 paid days off in a year, try to figure out how I'm going to use them. And if I go home, then that means that, you know what, I'm in a new country. And one of the reasons why I moved here was to be able to get out that, you know what, we don't know how many days we've been given. And I really want to enjoy my time on this earth. I want to go out and I want to, travel. Well, how can I travel if what I was doing before doesn't fit with me, right? Because I'm stuck in a box. I want freedom. I want out of that corporate box. So, you know what? When I figured out what my why was and that freedom that I wanted, then I'm going to tell you, when I was tired at the end of the day, mentally exhausted from putting fires out all day long with the job that I just happened to do. And I'm sure you're probably coming to work every single day with the firefighter pack on your back as well. When you get home, your why will be like, okay, all right, I'm going to flip over. I'm going to grab a bite to eat. I'm going to flip over. And today I'm going to work on my business, right? I'm going to show up on today like a Saturday, which probably for a lot of you guys, Saturday was a day for me that it gave me time to work, but I had to do it, right? The work is not going to do itself. And so right now you have work to do in your business. It could be determining your business name, like we talked about yesterday. So if you want your why, if you want to make it happen in 2020, figure out that gosh darn it why, and then go, I'm going to sit down today and I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do the foundation work that Sonia's talking about here as we get going for 365 days of talking business. And like I say, what you focus on grows. And so come here every day, get watered. Your input determines your output, and it's what you surround yourself with and what you focus on that's going to be able to keep you going. Does that make sense? It does, right, Jocelyn? Yes. Hey, Jocelyn, good morning. She says, yes, Kim, working for yourself feels really nice. Oh, and you can't hide that joy that you get, that satisfaction that you get. And just the overall sense of purpose, right? It's like a car. This is the way I just always envisioned it for myself. Maybe it's because, you see a cartoon and you think about ever seen a car, and maybe it could be, I don't know, a Bugs Bunny type cartoony where the car has square wheels. The car has square wheels and the whole family's in it and they're like, clunk, clunk, clunk. Boy, it's a rough ride, right? When you're out of alignment with what you want to do, and remember, when you get in alignment, what you actually truly want to do, what your why is, business gets easier. You're not faking it. You can talk about this till the cows come home, right? You can demonstrate what you're doing in front of an audience because it comes naturally. You might need the confidence to do it. And we're going to talk about all that sort of stuff coming up and kind of how to get prepared and how to be strategic before you can press the live button, before you put yourself out there, the stuff that you can do internally so that you represent yourself, put yourself in the best light possible. But when you get your why figured out, it just gives you so much freedom yourself. You don't have a filter. You're not pretending. You don't have to be somebody, right? You're a natural creative. You'll always have your own ideas. You don't have to follow somebody else and then be the second person. You're going to come up with the ideas, all right? You're going to be the leader, the thought leader, and people are going to look to you because you're like, wow, how is he or she always coming up with this stuff? How are they always doing this stuff, right? It's because you're natural. You're a natural creative. You're a natural, you've got that fire in your belly. You were born with it. You were born with it. Angela says, that is so funny. I just left a corporate job for 27 years. I love using my hands and getting to be creative. Oh, it's wonderful, right? And the stuff that you did, you just take with you and you learn. We're like a collection. Think about yourself right now. This is how I think about it. We're just a collection of all the experiences, the time. No, we don't want to start your scheduled scan. Run later. Thank you, Dell. So yeah, this is not the time, Dell Computer, to do an update, okay? We're talking good stuff. So when you determine your why, it just gets so much easier in business, right? So if you're doing stuff because somebody else is doing it, it's going to be harder for you. All right? So if you're doing things because you want to do it, then you know what? You'll never work a day in your life because you're truly in sync with you. But yeah, everything you do, Angela, totally is that makes you who you are today, right? And so look on that and just be thankful for where you are. And there's always something to be thankful for. You have a job right now. Somebody's paying the bills right now, right? Be thankful where you are. Be thankful even that you're starting in small beginnings, because that getting in the trenches and growing your business from the very, very bottom and, really doing the grind, right? It's the journey. It's the journey. You're not going to wake up today. I mean, everybody says, I want 1 million subscribers. If you woke up today with 1 million subscribers, could you service them? 1 million people that want what you have? Listen, take your time. Take your time. Enjoy the growing process, right? Don't rush to the end, because that's part of the journey. And be ready to serve, be ready to grow and allow people to grow with you, right? So we got an entire year. Man, I'm so excited, because where we start today and where we finish this year, that part is up to you, right? That's the work that you're doing when you get to the end of the year. But you can get to the end of the year and go, woo, I completely changed it how I started it, right? When you figure out your why, it'll give you the stamina to keep going 365 days a year. Everybody calls you boss lady, Kim, because you probably got that leadership quality inside of you, right? Did you ever go to like a conference and maybe this is good in business. If you ever gone to a conference and you're the chit chatty one while everybody else is quiet, you end up saying the things that other people wish. You're the one who goes, yes, I'll be the note taker. Yes, I'll be the leader. I'll be the person for our table. So if you're the boss lady, you've got those qualities that make you a good leader, which is good, because being your own boss, you show up every single day, right? Yes, Siri set my alarm for 7 o'clock this morning, but it's Sonia that actually makes herself get out of bed, right? Vision boards. Oh, this is good. I'm going to write that down. KG Sessions wrote here, vision boards are always a great reminder. It keeps you focused on track. Oh, I love vision boards. Who says we should do a vision board session in here? And what's really fun as well is as we grow this community, this morning daily business motivation chat community, and finding the people that are just in that positive mindset. When you know that it all stops and starts with you. You just you're not playing a victim. You're not gonna say that my business didn't work because of somebody else. You go, I make or break my business. All right, I will take complete ownership of it. It is good. It feels good. But I'm going to write down vision board. So in this community, as we grow, What we're going to do too is I eventually want to bring in other experts who are just rocking it in business. Maybe I can find somebody who actually professionally out there coaches other men and women on how to do vision boards. Tell me, give me a yes if that's what you want, right? Kim says her accountant told me you're not really considered in business until you make it past that first year. Yep, absolutely. Oh yeah, right. It's the growth. So many people give up so early. The secondhand cottage community says, I say that a lot. Why am I doing this with all the other things I need to do? Yep. And that's when you figured out your why. Okay. So the homework. So what do you do? We talked about the why. Now you understand. Yep. I got to figure this out. If I figure out my why, it's going to help me be strong and not be one of those statistics that Sonia talked about at the beginning, because that's a very real thing. The numbers ain't going to lie, right? So what do? You take a moment, you figure out your why. And again, your why can change as you go, but just figure out what your why is right now. What gets you out of bed to go out to pick up the paintbrush? What gets you out of bed to say, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to sign up for some vendor shows this year to make sure that I have stuff on my calendar every, there's always something going on. I am going to figure out a course I'm going to offer this year. I'm going to offer a membership site this year. I'm going to write an ebook or a book this year, whatever you want to do. I'm going to open up a brick and mortar store this year. I'm going to work on XYZ. It can be anything, small to big, whatever. It's always something that you're doing for your business, right? But I want you to take your why and I want you to write it on paper. So on my work computer, I have sticky tabs and I have things that just hit me inside like a ton of bricks. Every single day I work on myself, right? Not in competition with anybody else, just in competition with the person that you were yesterday, trying to be a better person, a better business owner. So every single day I read, my input determines my output. It keeps me on track, okay? I will take stick-it notes. And so take your why and I want you to put it on the side of your computer, okay? Wherever you sit in front of, on a mirror, I want you to put it wherever your station is, okay? Maybe it's whatever, even when you're at the job for somebody else right now, or your computer when you come home, just somewhere where it's in front of you, all right? When I first left that corporate job, one of the biggest things I told you is that I wanted sunshine so bad. And I remember that when I left my corporate job, I was like, I will stick on the front of my car, like the actual center, what's it called? I almost said it. What do you call it? The center part of your car. Center something. Help me, it's early. I stick it out and say, I will always appreciate the sunshine, right? Remember where you came from. And you'll be thankful to where you are now when you have a bad day, but you got sunshine out your window, right? Or you get to see just life outside, not into a box. The most amazing thing. So take your why, write it down, and then you know what? Look at it. Just keep it very simple. Business, keep it very simple. It's going to be easy. Look at it. My why is whatever it is right there and keep yourself going, right? Like always look at that. And then when you wake up every morning, oh, it's tired. Why am I doing this? Oh, I really don't want to do this today. But my why. I don't want to be the statistic. Instead, I want to achieve my why. What do you think? Yes? Are you picking out what I'm laying down? Would you agree with that? So then when you figure out your why and you stuck it down, now I want you to figure out what your schedule is going to look like this week. So if you were like me when you started, do you leave from business and then come home every single night and say, I'm going to work at least 1 hour? And it doesn't have to be physical work. Sometimes it's just sitting down and figuring out, mapping out what you're going to do for the next week, right? Or this is my schedule for the week. That's working on your business, trying to figure out, okay, all right, I got to get this. I got to get these supplies. I got to get this together. But don't always let the things that you do be the things that are just the organizing, the busy work, the administrative. Yes, you got to do those things. But I'm talking about like set up a schedule so you're really making the needle move in your business. What do you got to get done this week? You know what you got to get done this week, right? Do you want to advertise this week that you're taking on custom orders from people? Is that something you want to do? Whatever. Do you want to try to create a product that you've been thinking about for a very, very long time and you know that you know what? I think this could really sell. I got to make more of them. Reproduce a product that you've already done. Like whatever it is that you want to do in business, write out your schedule and figure out the time that you're going to devote to it. So your why and what your schedule is going to look like. Just take it week by week. What's your schedule going to look like this week ahead so that you can bring your why and make it happen? Oh, Nanette, yeah, vision boards. They're awesome. Again, it's a visual, right? A lot of times as creatives, and tell me if you're like this, but I am a visual person. And so for me, that's why and this is in this coaching group, I'm going to give you my best advice, keeping stuff front and center. So keeping your why very close to you. Your why could be on the front of your phone. So every time you unlock it, you see it. Wherever you want to put it, you could print off your why, just pull up a Word document or a notepad, write out your why, print it, and stick it right on the front cover. So when you're having coffee every morning, you see your why before you even open your list of what it is that it is for you to do. Keep yourself, right, surrounded by your why. So true, Nancy. This is Nancy pegged it. She said, where your vision goes, your energy flows. What you focus on will grow. I'm doing the best decade ever, similar concept, bigger scale. Good for you. Oh, yes. And I pick up what you're laying down there. That is exactly how you do business, not always trying to reinvent the wheel. You got something that works, right? Stick with it. Speaking of sticking with it, sticky notes everywhere. I agree. Belinda says she has a vision board in her garage. Good for you. Super visual. Yeah. Very, very nice. All right, my friends. Well, I'm going to go ahead and leave you with that. Take your notes, figure out your why. It will just, like I said, the 3 Ps, help you prioritize your day, keep doing things that keep in line with what your vision is. It will help you persevere on those days that you just want to give up and things go hard, because we know from that statistic that a lot of people give up. Don't be a statistic. And it will help you propel and give you the drive, because I ain't doing that no more, right? I ain't doing that no more. I am looking forward, and I'm going to change this year, and I'm going to end it out of that box doing that. I'm not going to build somebody else's dream. I'm going to work on myself and build my own empire right here, bit by bit. All right, my friends. Well, have a wonderful day. Get into something that you love. Do something that you love every single day for yourself, and just stay on the happy side of life. I'm going to finish my coffee right here. Got a little bit left, and then I am going to get into my day as well. All right, friends, I will see you again tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time sharp. Be there or be square. See ya. And thank you for subscribing, please. That's how I'm able to offer this coaching group and not do it paid. So if you enjoy paid coaching, take a moment to subscribe, like this video, leave me a comment, because all that helps me, and I will teach you YouTube as part of it. But instead of you having to pay to be here, it's like, if you can give me a thumbs up or a heart, leave me a comment below, watch this video, then you know what? Then we're able to keep this group going here on a free basis. And I love it. So let's keep it going, all right? So in exchange, give me a heart, okay? Or leave me a comment. And we'll keep this community going here on YouTube. All right, see you, Cynthia. See you, Kim. See you, Jody. You are so welcome, Vintage Forest Finds. Thank you for being here. Tam has given me some hearts. I appreciate you. Oh, and when you subscribe, this is the other thing. I was talking to my friend. She's here. And we were talking late last night, like, where does that gosh darn bell live? Because you'll hear me say, if you want to do my free business coaching and hang out with the same mindset of a group of individuals for a year for free, come to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and then hit the bell, and it sends you notifications, right? It gives you a reminder. And YouTube is pretty good at this, right? Now, every platform has its wonkiness, and it can go a little bit weird. But for the most part, it'll send you out a notification when I'm live, or I put a new video up, or there's some new activity going on here into the business community that you need to know about. So when you subscribe, then it makes the bell appear. So if you go right now to the Grow with Sonia Miller on YouTube, it has a subscribe button, but no bell, right? When you hit subscribe, then YouTube goes, okay, you subscribe to this channel. Do you want to turn on notifications? And that's when it makes a little bell available for you, so you can click it, and you can turn it on or turn it off. If you ever are somebody like, oh, I can't deal with notifications, and some, just different seasons of life, all you do is you just come back to the page and you hit the bell again, and it mutes it. So you control the bell. You control the notifications. Going junkie today. Me too. Me too. I can't wait to get out. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Tammy. Yep. You determine if it's going to be a good day or a bad day, right? The work's going to be the same. We might as well show up in good spirits. All right, friends, I'm going to let you go. Go get some coffee, and I will see you again tomorrow morning. Bye. See ya.